Dream delivers us to dream, and there is no end to illusion. Illusion. What is illusion? Dream delivers us to dream, and there is no end to illusion. Life is a train of moods, like a string of beads, and as we pass through them, they prove to be many-colored lenses, which paint the world their own hue, and each shows only what lies in its focus. From the mountain you see the mountain. We animate what we can, and we see only what we animate. Nature and books belong to the eyes that see them. Nature and books belong to the eyes that see them. Yeah, it's true. Every book is a different book to another person, right? It's all the way that you perceive it and interpret it. It depends on the mood of the man, whether he shall see the sun or whether he shall see the sunset or a fine poem. There are always sunsets, and there is always genius, but only a few hours so serene that we can relish nature or criticism. The more or less depends on the structure or temperament. Temperament is the iron wire on which the beads are strung. Of what use is fortune or talent to a cold and defective nature? Who cares what sensibility or discrimination a man has at some time shown? If he falls asleep in his chair, or if he laugh and giggle, or if he apologize, or is affected by egotism, or thinks of his dollar, or cannot go buy food, or has gotten a child in his boyhood. Of what use is genius if the organ is too convex or too concave, and cannot find a focal distance within the actual horizon of human life? Of what use is the brain? Of what use if the brain is too hot or too cold, and the man does not care enough for the results to stimulate him to experiment and hold him up in it? For if the web is too finely woven, too irritable by pleasure or pain, so that life stagnates from too much reception, without due outlet, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment, if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them? What cheer can the religious sentiment yield when that is suspected to be secretly dependent on the seasons of the year and the state of the blood? I knew a witty physician who found theology in the biliary duct, and used to affirm that if there was a disease in the liver, the man became a Calvinist, and if the organ was sound, he became a Unitarian. Very mortifying is the reluctant experience that some unfriendly excess or imbecility neutralizes the promise of genius. We see young men who owe us a new world so readily and so lavishly they promise, but they never acquit the debt. They die young and dodge the account, or they live and they lose themselves in the crowd. Temperament also enters fully into the system of illusions, and shuts us in a prison of glass which we cannot see. There is an optical illusion about every person we meet. In truth, they are all creatures of given temperament, which will appear in a given character, whose boundaries they will never pass. But we look at them, they seem alive, and presume there is impulse in them. In the moment, it seems impulse. In the year, in the lifetime, it turns out to be a certain uniform tune, which the revolving barrel of a music box must play. Men resist the conclusion in the morning, but adopt it as the evening wears on. The temper prevails over everything in time, place, and condition, and is consumable in the flames of religion. Some modifications the moral sentiment avails to impose if the individual texture holds its dominion, if not to bias the moral judgments, yet to fix the measure of activity and enjoyment. I thus express the law as it is read from the platform of ordinary life, but must not leave it without noticing the capital exception. For temperament is a power which no man willingly hears any one praise but himself. On the platform of physics, we cannot resist the contracting influences of so-called science. Temperament puts all divinity to rout. I know the mental proclivity of physicians. I hear the chuckle of phrenologists, theoretic kidnappers and slave drivers. They esteem each man the victim of another, who winds him round his finger by knowing the law of his being. And by such cheap signboards as the color of his beard or the slope of his occiput reads the inventory of his fortunes and character. The grossest ignorance does not disgust, like this impudent, I don't know what that word means, knowingness. The physicians say they are not materialists, but they are. Spirit is matter, reduced to extreme thinness. Oh, so thin. But the definition of spiritual should be that which is its own evidence. What notions do they attach to love? What to religion? One would not willingly pronounce these words in their hearing and give them the occasion to profane them. I saw a gracious gentleman who adapts his conversation to the form of the head of the man he talks with. I had fancied that the value of life lay in its inscrutable possibilities, in the fact that I never know, in addressing myself to a new individual, what may befall me. I carry the keys of my castle in my hand, ready to throw them at the feet of, it says of my Lord, but I'm not religious in that sense. I don't think this guy is either. I think he means like of his Lord as in like as of like the universe. Whenever and in what disguise soever he shall appear. Oh yeah, see, like I carry the keys of the castle in my hand, ready to throw them at the feet of my Lord, whenever and in what disguise soever he shall appear. I know he is in the neighborhood, hidden among the vagabonds. Shall I preclude my future by taking a high seat and kindly adapting my conversation to the shape of the heads? When I come to that, the doctors shall buy me for a cent. But sir, medical history and report to the report to the institute, the proven facts. I distrust the facts and the inferences. Temperament is the veto or limitation power in the Constitution, very justly applied to restrain an opposite excess in the Constitution, but absurdly offered as a bar to original equity. When virtue is in its presence, all subordinate powers sleep. On its own level, or in the view of nature, temperament is final. I see not, if one be once caught in this trap of so-called sciences, any escape for the man from the links of the chain of physical necessity. Given such an embryo, such a history must follow. On this platform, one lives in a sty of sensualism and would soon come to suicide. But it is impossible that the creative power should exude itself. Into every intelligence there is a door which is never closed, through which the Creator passes. The intellect, seeker of absolute truth, or the heart, lover of absolute good, intervenes from our succor, and at one whisper of these high powers, we awake from ineffectual struggles with this nightmare. We hurl it at its own hell, and cannot again contract ourselves to so base a state. By the way, I just opened a random page and just started reading and figured I might as well film it, just because, I don't know. ideally, I would like to be uploading like every day, and having every day the video be different than the day before, so that way I'm not, I don't know, it keeps it more interesting. It's like, how can I come up with new ways to make new videos, and then also how can I keep myself from being like categorized into like this specific genre or that specific genre. But yeah, basically, you know, I haven't been uploading every day, I know, and I don't really care about, like, I don't want to hold myself to some specific standard of like, oh, this video must be this good, or you know, I must look like this in my video, or you know, I'd rather just put it out and express myself as I am, without, you know, self-criticizing, and I feel like it's more real if I don't hold back, and you know, most of my videos, I don't edit them, like, I do it in like one take. You know, there's a few exceptions, like for the most part, like, there was one video I did a second take of. It was like, that one is like master servant slave, or evolve. But that's because I came up with the idea while I was making the video, and then I figured it was kind of all over the place when I made it, so I figured I should remake it. And little known to anyone, I was actually awake for 6 days when I made that video, and you know, I thought it'd be funny to post something that I made when I had been awake for 6 days. I wish I still had the first go through, or like, what do you call it, first take, but I had to delete it because my camera, or I mean my memory card was running out of space. But yeah, basically, if you like the video, or you know, even if you hate it, you know, I'm sure that one day I'll have a video that you like, and you should subscribe. Hopefully, I upload every day, but I mean, you know, life comes into I don't know. I can do it. It's like, how much do I value it, right? It's like, we always do the things that we value, and you know, I make time to skateboard every day, all the time. Like, I love skateboarding, but you know, I love going really fast. But like, where are my priorities? How long can I hold my breath? Well, that's an idea for a video, I don't know. As I release my breath, because I don't want to fucking hold it. Yeah, sorry, I feel like I'm holding the camera too close to me, myself. I can't see myself at all in the camera. So I'm not really sure if I'm holding it close or far. If I hold it like this, I'm not sure if I can actually hear myself. Sorry, this is kind of like the end of the video. Credits, you know, shout outs to my mom and dad for putting two together. You know, just joking. I heard that from a rap song. Shout outs to Jay-Z. Check him out right there. Just kidding. Yo, one spirit unite us. Yeah. 100% I gave. I don't even know what that is. But it's pretty cool. You know, I'm just recording live from Eden. As you can see, the whole world is the Garden of Eden, as they said, except for, you know, we're not just in the garden, we're also well, technically right now, I'm at the stadium. So, I'm at the Stadium of Eden. Maybe they just called Eden the world back in the day. And they're like, yo, this is our garden. Yeah, that whole analogy there was kind of funny. That whole story. Eve gets like tempted by the snake to what did she get tempted to do? Eat the apple. So strange. So very strange. Very strange indeed. Anyway, I love you, and stay sweet.